Throughout the region, this is Fox News at 9 in HD.
Now at 9, an update on the Grand Forks shooting that happened over the weekend.
Social media takes on breast cancer awareness.
Downtown Fargo gets even more national recognition.
This weekend at the UND hockey game, students were allegedly thrown out for a sign that they displayed in the crowd. Coming up, we hear from the arena manager, who says that this is not the case.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. A group of UND students made a scene with their Fire Kelly poster at this weekend's UND hockey game.
The large poster was on display in the upper bowl of the student section at Ralph Engelstad Arena. KVRR's Natalie Parsons talked with UND student and the venue's general manager about the incident.
It's a bold statement to say fire the president of a university, but one UND student says it's an even bolder statement when he may not be fully at fault.
I think it's a complicated topic. I think it's a lot of frustration built up, maybe misdirected at him.
There's been a few changes around campus recently that some students say bring an ill vibe to the man in charge.
The Sioux name, I think that's a big one. Springfest, a lot of people are angry, and I don't think they know where to focus it, and he's just kind of a figurehead.
During a UND St. Cloud State hockey game, students put the poster on display. Security confiscated it for not complying with a poster and banner policy.
Our policy prohibits signs that are derogatory or political in nature, and we thought it checked both of those boxes.
Both security and the students now agree they had a miscommunication about having to leave.
When the students were allowed to leave the security office, our guys thought they were just going back out to the arena, and the students actually left the building at that point. They thought they'd been asked to leave.
The students didn't put the sign on display until the third quarter, leading some to believe they cared more about the game than the message the banner portrayed.
They just probably wanted to make a statement, and where a better place to make a statement here than the Ralph, the end of a big game.
The university has no comment on this matter, as the Ralph Engelstad Arena is a privately operated venue. Reporting from Grand Forks, Natalie Parsons, KVRR News.
No disciplinary measures will be taken against those UND students. Grand Forks Police releasing a little more details on a Saturday morning shooting.
It happened in the All True Hospital parking lot after a chase. A UND campus police officer shot and wounded the suspect. The officer has been placed on administrative leave pending the standard investigation. The UND police officer's name has not yet been released, but the suspect's name has.
We can name the suspect. The subject involved was David Elliott, a 41-year-old male from Grand Forks.
Elliott is still being treated at All True. Many of the details in this incident are still under criminal investigation. March may have come in like a lamb, but it quickly may be turning into a lion.
Roar, huh? Meteorologist Rob Kupek in the Weather Center. Rob, blizzard warnings and some watches are up for parts of the area.
Yeah, mainly southeastern North Dakota into the lakes country of Minnesota. So let's start with the map. Who's under what? Let's start with the easy one. Maybe not so easy, but at least it's a wind advisory. The Tan area, Jamestown, Devil's Lake, back to the west. A lot of wind, not a lot of snow out there. Not really going to get any snow tomorrow. So that area just under a wind advisory. Where it gets tricky is around Fargo. Winter weather advisory. We'll get a little bit of snow. We'll get a lot of wind. Will it be enough to create a blizzard? Still some question marks, and then it gets even trickier to the south. Get down into Richland County, Wilkin County, western parts of Otter Tail County. It is a blizzard watch. You'll be right on the edge of some heavier snow. You'll definitely get some wind. Will it be enough to create a blizzard? Still a little uncertainty at this time, so that's why a blizzard watch. Where we are a little more certain is down to the south. Blizzard warnings, northeastern South Dakota, Traverse County in Minnesota. Here we are going to get the snow, and we're also going to get the wind as well. No, nothing quite yet in our area. There is some rain back in South Dakota. That will turn to snow as it moves in our direction. Winds have been stiff out of the south. Tomorrow they'll be from the north, northwest, and they'll be even stronger. Back with the full Weather Authority forecast and talk about snow amounts in a few minutes.
Weathers are changing. All right, thanks, Rob. A Grafton woman is accused of locking 4 young children in a dog cage.
Police say 23-year-old Jordan Nelson put the children ages 5 to 9 in the cage and turned the lights off as punishment. At least one child was forced to eat dog food, which made him vomit. One boy drew a picture of himself in the kennel with the words, "Help me." Nelson is charged with 4 counts of felony abuse and neglect of a child and felonious restraint. The woman is allegedly in a relationship with the children's mother. She has been ordered to stay away while on bond.
A former U of M quarterback won't serve any jail time for an assault that seriously hurt a former Minnesota State football player. Philip Nelson was sentenced to 100 hours of community service for his part in a fight May 11th outside a Mankato nightclub that left Isaac Kolstad with a brain injury. Nelson apologized in court and maintained he doesn't remember kicking Kolstad and said he wants to take responsibility for his actions. Video of the incident revealed Kolstad threw the first punch. He gave a victim impact statement saying his life has been, quote, changed forever.
An Illinois family is searching for their son who was last seen in Fargo almost a month ago. 37-year-old Sean Renecker has been missing since February 2nd. He was last seen at Motel 6 in Fargo. If you have any information, please contact your local law enforcement or the Fargo Police Department at 701-235-4493.
Minnesota Senate Majority Leader says he is reluctant to tap into the state's projected $1.8 billion surplus because of a pending lawsuit. That suit, filed by Texas-based Kimberly-Clark Corporation, headed for trial this month. It deals with how multi-state corporations calculate tax liability in Minnesota. Tom Bach says if the state loses the suit, it could cost up to $700 million. Bach says Senate Democrats will offer preliminary details about their budget proposal later this week.
Drivers in Fargo were rerouted throughout the day for a house on the move. This large home began moving down 52nd Avenue South from 25th Street to 45th Street. The house was taken in 3 sections. The relocation of the house began early this morning. The house will eventually be moved off the road and into a field.
A medical missionary team from Devil's Lake is expected home tomorrow after being released by authorities in Venezuela. Pastor Bruce Dick of Bethel Evangelical Free Church in Devil's Lake and 3 others were taken into custody last Wednesday and repeatedly questioned. It's still unclear why the group was held. A spokesman for Senator Hoeven says the State Department told the senator the missionaries were deported for not having the proper visa. The incident comes amid growing tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela.
A B-52 bomber from Minot Air Force Base is taking part in a special ceremony in Washington, D.C. The 69th Bomb Squadron, departing from North Dakota early this morning, will perform a flyover in honor of prisoners of war and those missing in action. The flyover is part of the U.S. Air Force's commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. A wreath-laying ceremony honored prisoners of war and missing in action veterans and their families. Crew members from Minot Air Force Base say they are honored to be a part of the ceremony.
It's very special, not only for the crews that get to fly, but really for the Vietnam veterans that we're actually doing the flyover for. Obviously, they put a lot of their heart and soul into actually serving our country, and it's just it's sort of a wonderful feeling to be able to fly over.
Air Force Chief of Staff General Mark A. Welsh III presided over this ceremony. It's a deadly disease, and some say it's not talked about enough. How social media is being used to raise awareness of stage 4 breast cancer.
And more bragging rights for a revitalized downtown Fargo.
You are watching Fox News at 9 in HD with TJ Nelson, Chief Meteorologist Rob Kupek, and Sports Director Mike McCann.
Breast cancer fighters are taking to social media.
With a major movement on Twitter, many are speaking up on the lack of awareness. KVRR's Aaron Lish has more.
Many see the pink ribbon and think that this type of cancer is typically curable. But when someone has stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, life becomes a roller coaster.
You know, you're faced with a harsher reality on a daily basis. However, you have to just keep plugging along.
So what is stage 4? It's where the cancer kills. The disease spreads from the breasts through the body, especially to the lungs, liver, and brain.
To get the word out about this level of the disease, people flooded to Twitter with hashtags like BC Kills.
I have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer and cycle 5 of 6. Good luck to you all on this journey.
Others say it wasn't their lack of watching out for the cancer. It just happened, even at 39 years old.
Stage 4 breast cancer diagnosis does not mean that women have not taken care of themselves and let breast cancer get out of hand. In my circumstance, there were no warning signs, no indications.
One of the biggest problems, according to those with cancer, is that less than 5% of funding goes towards research to cure MBC. Many say with the movement, it's making people curious about the disease, and this could make a difference.
I've gotten feedback from people myself who have already told me within the last 18 to 24 hours that they've learned more about metastatic disease in the last 24 hours than they ever knew up to this point in their lives. So that's very encouraging.
Aaron Lish, KVRR News.
20 to 30% of people diagnosed with breast cancer will develop the advanced and fatal disease.
More than 400 Cat in the Hats spotted in West Fargo. Kids at Ladone Kindergarten Center all wore hats and celebrated Dr. Seuss's birthday. The kids joined others across the country to also celebrate the 16th year of Read Across America Day. The purpose of the Reading Day is to strengthen the joy of reading for each and every student.
We try very hard to keep up the enthusiasm, so doing an activity like Reading Week, Read Across America, really helps them to be excited about reading, and hopefully will keep them going to libraries, checking out books, and reading all throughout their life.
And it is estimated that more than 45 million readers across the country picked up a book and took part in the event. A major recall by Hyundai. What the company is saying could happen next time you're driving. Next in business news.
And when is an end table not actually an end table? Well, when it's a phone charger. The details later in the Buzz.
Remember that episode, which one is it? The Cat in the Hat, and the very little tiny one that's called Zoom and cleans up all the snow? I don't think we'll have that much snow, but a few of you might be looking for Zoom tomorrow to get rid of some of the snow that's going to be blowing around. Weather Authority forecast is next. Good evening. Here's what's going on. We got a little bit of rain, actually, down around the pier area. That's going to run to the north, and it will turn into some snow as it runs into some much colder area. That's in association with a little area of low pressure, which is going to take a course, bring it up closer to the Twin Cities. And right in this zone in here, we should see some heavier snow from this system. It's going to be a fast-moving system, so we'll never have a chance to really pile up a lot, but it may come down fast and furious for just a little bit down in northeastern South Dakota into parts of Lake Country even. Showing here Futurecast, nothing going on really tonight. It'll be the morning hours that it starts to snow, and there will likely be snow. This is 4 a.m. by your morning commute. Fergus Falls, down into Wahpeton, even Fargo will get grazed with just a little bit of snow. We'll be right on the edge of this system in Fargo. Grand Forks, Devils Lake, Jamestown, just expecting probably some flurries up into the Halleck area, the same thing. And then the snow will shift to the east pretty quick, I think, through the day tomorrow. Then we'll be left with just a lot of wind and a lot of cold air spilling south from Canada. So I haven't changed my current thinking. The computer models, if they did anything the last run, they kind of shifted everything a little bit down to the south and east. So I think right now that trace to 2, that band from around Oaks up through Fargo, up to around Thief River Falls, I think that's going to hold true, and we'll stick to this 2 to 4 Fergus Falls over to the east. Obviously a waffle anyway, and it's going to be a pretty good cutoff. You may get a little bit more snow, you may get not much at all. As a matter of fact, western parts of Cass County, I'm thinking probably not going to see anything, and if that shifts a little further to the east, may not do any shoveling in Fargo yet again from another one of these winter storms. So it's going to be a close call, and we're not talking certainly a lot, but we are going to be talking about a lot of wind, and that is going to make travel very difficult down I-29 and I-94 tomorrow. Wind speeds right now, they've been out of the south. They've been pretty stiff, starting to turn to the southwest. Eventually, by morning, they will turn around to the northwest, and they will be very strong. Some gusts up into the 20s and 30s here. May see some gusts up around 50 tomorrow, especially, I think, out in the James River Valley. Here's that Futurecast wind showing those stiff winds out of the south, turning northwest. Notice the orange here. That's the stronger winds out towards Jamestown. Not much snow on the ground out there. That's why that area just under a wind advisory, and then those strong winds will sweep across southeastern North Dakota and into Lakes Country. So that's where the strongest winds will be, and that's likely where the most problems will be. Can I keep an eye on though? Devils Lake, Jamestown, there is a little bit of snow on the ground. It really won't be until tomorrow night at this time that the wind lets up. You can see here around Devils Lake, there's a little bit of snow there, and sometimes it does not take a lot of wind. At least watch out. There will be snow moving across the roadway, so some blow ice, certainly a possibility out in those areas. Jamestown, you can see here, it's kind of a crusty little cruddy snow that's left, but sometimes it doesn't take much to scour that and put it out. So we'll just need to be on guard. So again, that wind advisory, Devils Lake and Jamestown, winter weather advisories around, the blizzard watch, and then eventually the blizzard warning down to the south. So those are the things we'll be keeping an eye on through the day tomorrow. 33, got above freezing today in Fargo. The low was 1 this morning. Did not do it in Grand Forks. 30 and -6, the numbers there. Overnight tonight, you will wake up to temperatures in the single digits to the north, about 10 in Grand Forks, mostly cloudy. Could be a flurry overnight. Winds will turn to the northwest at 10 to 25, and temperatures will fall back through the day. We'll be on the lookout. Could be some blowing snow. Winds strong out of the northwest, 20 to 40. Northern Minnesota, mostly cloudy. Will be some light snow towards dawn, say over towards Bemidji. Teens, maybe only 5 in the morning in Halleck. And then the rest of the area will likely drop back to the single digits. Might hold on to the teens to the east in the afternoon. Winds out of the northwest, 15 to 40. Strong winds, too, up around the Halleck area tomorrow. Overnight, snow developing across Lakes Country will drop into the 20s to about 17 in the morning. South-southeast winds at about 10 to 25. And for tomorrow, snow will come to an end pretty quickly, 1 to 4 inches, 1 being closer to Park Rapids, 4 being closer to Alexandria. Northwest winds 15 to 40. They will get very strong in the afternoon. Mostly cloudy. Be some snow later tonight towards dawn. Trace to the northwest, maybe 4 inches to the southeast. Wake up to teens in the Red River Valley. Colder out to the west. South winds overnight 10 to 30, and then we'll fall back into the single digits in most spots. Windy, cold. Watch out for blowing snow, especially south and east of Fargo-Moorhead. Winds out of the northwest 20 to 50 miles an hour. Cold again on Wednesday. There'll still be a bit of a breeze, so wind chill will become a problem tomorrow night and into Wednesday. Thursday, though, breezy again, but this time the wind's out of the south. So after a cold start, we'll head up to about 26. Friday, 35. Could be a little shot of some very light snow Friday night. And then it looks like the 40s for Saturday, Sunday, and into the beginning of next week. So it could be winter's last gasp.
There comes the lamb, too, by the end of the week. Huh?
There he comes, yeah.
That looks good.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, well, you found out at 6.
I did.
We searched far and wide. And we found a new co-anchor right to our left. Allison Voorhees is officially co-anchor here at KVRR.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Very excited to be here. For those of you that don't know, grew up in Appleton, Minnesota. I graduated from college at MSUM, where I took a part-time job here at KVRR, and I've been here for nearly 6 years. I've done a little bit of everything. I started as a production assistant, reporter, producing, like I said, just a little bit of everything, and now I'm here with you guys.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you very much. Costco strikes a deal for Citigroup to be the exclusive issuer of its co-branded credit cards, and Visa will replace American Express as the store's card network.
Costco is saying the deal is subject to Citi buying the company's co-branded credit card portfolio. Costco and American Express parted ways after failing to reach an agreement on renewal terms. American Express says the relationship is set to expire March 31st. Costco says the deal with Visa and Citigroup would take effect the next day. Hyundai is recalling about 263,000 cars in the U.S. and Canada.
This because of a sensor problem which could cause drivers to lose power-assisted steering. Cars would revert to manual steering and require greater effort to steer at low speeds, raising the risk of a crash. The affected cars include model years 2008 to 2010 of Elantra's and Elantra's touring vehicles.
Tonight's business news is brought to you by choose from 7 regionally inspired dishes at Perkins on the new Coast to Coast Classics menu.
Rheumatoid arthritis may be a scary diagnosis for some people, but new treatments could ease the symptoms of this crippling disease. Details ahead in Health News.
First, the Israeli Prime Minister's Washington visit ignites a nuclear fight. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu downplays any personal friction with President Obama ahead of his controversial address to Congress tomorrow.
The Israeli leader did make it clear that he objects to ongoing talks between Iran and Western powers to reach a nuclear deal. Fox's Joe Waldman reports.
Addressing AIPAC, the largest pro-Israel lobby in the U.S., Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reassured the crowd that his visit is not a swipe at the president.
Reports of the demise of the Israeli-U.S. relations is not only premature, they're just wrong.
The Prime Minister says his upcoming speech before a joint meeting of Congress Tuesday is merely intended to highlight the danger of Iran securing nuclear weapons. The U.S. and its allies have been negotiating with Iran for months, seeking a deal that would ease economic sanctions if the country agrees to restrict its nuclear activities.
If diplomacy should fail, we know the stakes of a nuclear-armed Iran, as well as everyone here. We will not let it happen.
Even before arriving in Washington, the Israeli leader's visit caused controversy. Prime Minister Netanyahu accepted the congressional Republicans' invitation without the White House being consulted, considered by some as a breach of diplomatic protocol. Vice President Joe Biden, who's out of the country, will skip the congressional address along with some Democratic lawmakers. And the White House says President Obama will not meet with the prime minister because it's too close to Israel's general election. All this as the administration reiterated the relationship between both countries remains strong.
The relationship between the United States and Israel is an important one and one that has been strengthened under this president's leadership.
Overall, interest in the speech remains high. Speaker Boehner's office says it has received 10 times the number of requests for tickets than there are seats available. In Washington, Joel Waldman, Fox News.
The last time the NASDAQ was this high, Bill Clinton was president, your internet connection was probably still dial-up, and the iPod, iPhone, iPad didn't exist. 15 years later, the NASDAQ has again closed above 5,000 and is close to topping its record from the dot-com boom. The index has clawed back right in a 6-year bull market and is now 40 points from its all-time closing high of 5,048, reached March 10th of 2000.
A woman who blogged for years about her son's constant health woes has been convicted in New York of poisoning him to death with salt. A jury found Lacey Spears of Scottsville, Kentucky, guilty of second-degree murder in the death of 5-year-old Garnet. Prosecutors contended that Spears reveled in the attention Garnet's illness brought her. Prosecutors say she eventually killed the boy because she feared he would start telling people she was making him sick.
We are not the only ones to be impacted by tomorrow's storm. Rob, the system will cut a pretty wide swath to the east.
Yeah, it is. A large portion of the country will be impacted by this and the southern flank of this system. Matter of fact, winter weather advisories all the way from, well, goodness gracious, all the way from Montana all the way to New England. Down here, it's a winter storm watch as the southern flank of this system will move up into the lower Ohio Valley. And down here, lots of dense fog across the deep south. So weather is not particularly nice across much of the United States. This storm system just getting going, but it's going to take a track that will bring it over here and eventually over to the East Coast, and the second arm of it will come up through the Ohio Valley as well, as I was just saying. High temperatures across the nation today. Only 68 in Phoenix, 59 in Las Vegas. We had the same temperature as Chicago, 33, 63 in Atlanta. Punta Gorda, Florida is your warmest in the country, 86. That, a couple of other places in Florida sharing them. Take a look at this. Poor horse in Indiana fell through the ice. Rescuers came and cut the ice out and eventually got the horse to safety. Just a little hypothermia. Sadly, though, when they got the report in, the report was of 2 horses in, so one did not make it out of the pond, but just his head sticking up above water, so just getting there in the nick of time for that one. We come back, we will take a look at this storm and how it's going to impact the tri-state region back in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. A new study will have nut lovers, well, going nuts. What eating them will do for your life, next in Health News.
Coming up, a good one in the District 2 final. Oak Grove, Grover's supposed to be there. Enderlin, maybe not so much, but the highlights coming up in sports.
Yeah, how do we use? Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, mic check.
The animal lover over here. Checkity-hoo, checkity-hoo.
The number of U.S. measles cases this year is growing.
The CDC says right now 170 measles cases have been confirmed. Cases are reported in 17 states and the District of Columbia. Most of those cases are linked to a December outbreak at California's Disneyland. CDC saying the majority of those who have developed measles were unvaccinated. About 1.5 million Americans are affected by rheumatoid arthritis, and people with relatives who have RA have a higher likelihood of getting it than those who do not.
But new drugs and treatments are giving people hope and allowing them to live full lives. Adam McCoy has the details.
Over 15 years ago, Julia Fisher started noticing a change in her game.
I had been playing a lot of basketball, and I just kept thinking I was getting my fingers jammed and couldn't figure out what was going on. But my mom has it as well, and so she immediately knew.
Oh my goodness, my heart just broke.
Julia was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, one of the most common chronic inflammatory diseases. There is no cure. The goal is to reduce inflammation and prevent bone damage with medication.
Up to 0.5% to 1% of the population suffers from it. But that's probably maybe 6 times that risk if you have a first-degree relative with rheumatoid arthritis.
Julia's mother has firsthand experience with RA. She was diagnosed with the disease at 40 years old.
I'd had surgeries on my toes early on, and then I was hoping she wouldn't have to go through all that.
While it is a diagnosis no one wants to hear, ongoing research has made Julia's experience with RA a completely different one than her mother's. Drugs are that much better.
Particularly in the last 15, 16 years, there have been a number of new medications, mostly what we call biologic drugs, but they have really dramatically changed the outlook of people with rheumatoid arthritis.
I'm able to just live, a very just full and happy, pain-free life right now.
I'm Adam McCoy.
Eating nuts, including peanuts and peanut butter, may help you live longer.
Researchers looked at the diets of more than 200,000 people in the U.S. and China. They found nut consumption was linked to a lower risk of premature death from heart disease and other causes. They say the findings support previous evidence on the heart-healthy benefits of nuts. However, since this was an observational study, they cannot prove eating nuts will definitely help you live longer. Silicon Fargo's downtown is gaining more national notice.
Downtown Fargo is being named one of the best downtown spots in the country, and I'll tell you why that is coming up.
Later, the real estate market in one Georgia town is dead but still walking. How you can own a piece of hit TV series.
1, 2, 3, 4, downtown Fargo is becoming a hot spot.
Downtown Fargo is named one of the top 10 downtowns in the country by Livability.com.
Many in the area aren't surprised by the ranking, and they say downtown Fargo is the place to be. KVRR reporter Aries Serrano joins us live, and he tells us why downtown Fargo made the list. Aries?
TJ and Allison, the website Livability.com ranked downtown Fargo as the 7th best downtown in America. Editors from the website focus on small to mid-sized cities, and Fargo scored high on its growing population and high walk score. Lauren Howell and her roommate Amira Lloyd live in downtown Fargo.
I mean, it has a really great atmosphere. It has really great shops everywhere, like really good food, really good people. Like, it's just an all-around really fun place to be.
They aren't surprised that the downtown is being named as one of the top 10 downtowns in the country. Lloyd just moved in and doesn't regret the decision.
I much prefer it here. I don't think I want to move out of downtown. It's so nice here.
When Livability.com ranked downtown areas, they took into consideration downtown Fargo's increased housing values and population. They found that downtown is very walkable and has a vibrant art scene. Mayor Tim Mahoney says the diversity with shopping, dining, and its nightlife helps with the ranking.
It's great. Like, you kind of hope that somebody has a bucket list, and on their bucket, I want to see the top 10 cities in the United States. They'll be coming to Fargo.
One of the considerations people make on why they think downtown Fargo is one of the best downtowns in the country is because of the food.
I really like all the good food. There are fine restaurants here. I really like sushi in Fargo. It's actually really good.
And people in Fargo aren't the only ones that agree with the ranking.
It's safe to be in downtown Fargo. Not every downtown area can boast that.
Lively entertainment options and the arts culture are some of the other ranking considerations that roommates like Howell and Lloyd agree on. Livability.com also notes that low vacancy rates, a projected climb in income, and a low median age is making downtown Fargo become an it spot. Reporting live, Aries Serrano, KVRR News.
The Fargo City Commission approves a proposal to help ease parking congestion in downtown Fargo. The $135,000 plan would allow people to park at the Moorhead Center Mall and use a shuttle to make its way downtown Fargo every 15 minutes. The proposal aims to help with parking downtown and would also help increase map bus ridership. The proposal still has to go through Moorhead.
When you think about having a mile-long route that connects Moorhead and Fargo, that really fits in well with our transit plans, but also fits with our framework plans that we've worked on with Moorhead.
If Moorhead leaders approve the plan, Fargo hopes to have the bus circulation system running by May 18th.
The annual North Dakota Winter Show begins its 6-day run tomorrow in Valley City. The state's longest-running egg show is in its 78th year. This is video from last year's big event. The headline entertainer this year is country singer Rodney Atkins on Friday night. The Winter Show features livestock and crop shows and exhibits, a rodeo, and other events. Potato farmer and businessman Ron Offit and John Bollingberg, who founded Northland Seed Company, will be inducted into the North Dakota Agricultural Hall of Fame on Saturday. It's going to be a rough weather day around much of the tri-state tomorrow. Rob is back with a look at the regional impact of this pending storm.
Yeah, certainly if you are traveling south, you may want to reconsider those travel plans for tomorrow. Blizzard warnings up from Pierre over through Aberdeen, over through about Brookings, over into the Mankato area, back just to the southwest of the Twin Cities. So all that area in orange. We've still got these few counties here. Blizzard watch, still not quite sure the way that's going to play out. All around that, winter weather advisories. If you're headed west, you won't have the snow to contend with, but you'll have a lot of wind and maybe a little bit of snow moving across those roadways, making some slick spots as well. So it is not going to be an ideal day for driving. Here's our futurecast. We'll take it. We'll show you the tri-state version of that. And notice this band of pretty good snow moving up here will graze the Twin Cities. The heaviest snow will likely be in a path from Duluth, and it'll be about 3 to 6 inches. Duluth through about St. Cloud, back down into the Watertown area of South Dakota. That is where the heaviest snow will be. That will slide through, and then it'll be just the wind and the cold that will spill in behind this system. Really, it'll turn mostly cloudy, I think, across much of the region. The winds, though, take a look here. Futurecast winds, the tri-state version. You can see those strong winds out in the James River Valley. They will slide down across northeastern South Dakota, down into the southwest corner of Minnesota as well. And those areas probably going to see a pretty good blizzard back here in the southwest areas, back to the west of the Twin Cities. So that will be probably some of the hardest hit areas on the Minnesota side. Strong winds will continue into tomorrow night, and then eventually we'll start to get a little relief. The other numbers we're tracking, Town of the Week. It's back this week. It was off last week. Valley City, just 24%, 76% of the vote going to Detroit Lakes. You can go on my Facebook, Rob Kupek, or shoot me an email, rkupek@kvrr.com. DL, it was neck and neck, and then all of a sudden, just all the votes started busting for DL. So Detroit Lakes with a big lead. Valley City, there's still time. Voting goes till about 2 o'clock tomorrow. Come back, we'll have that 7-day, and we'll look at those local warnings back at the end of the news.
Word must be spreading fast in DL.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was one of the biggest runs I had ever seen of just votes for Detroit Lakes.
Well, there's time, Valley City.
There's time.
Get with it. All right, thanks, Rob. An HGTV host is in hot water for her comments made over Minneapolis city leaders. Next in The Buzz.
The mayor of Minneapolis gets into a war of words with a home design show host.
The best-selling female touring artist of all time sets her sights on a return trip to the region. But first, Swedish furniture giant IKEA wants your new furniture to do more than just look good.
The new Home Smart line will wirelessly charge your smartphone and tablet. The aim is to cut down on cable clutter and eliminate the need to find a charger. The new line will go on sale in mid-April.
The Home Start furniture uses a standard known as Qi, which is supported by most newer Android and Windows phones. IKEA says it'll offer a special charging cover for iPhones and older Galaxy S phones to enable the wireless charging. Kind of a cool idea.
Yeah,
you always run to plug those things in, it seems like.
I think I always hear somebody asking for a charger somewhere.
Just throw it on a table.
That'd be helpful. An online war of words between the Minneapolis mayor and popular HGTV host Nicole Curtis. The issue at hand, a home that Curtis tried to save.
Now the mayor is demanding Curtis apologize for her fans' Facebook comments. Nina Moini reports.
Just run down, just worn out. I mean, pieces falling off the outside and the inside.
What many people living along Colfax Avenue South saw as a dump
Nicole Curtis saw as an historic treasure that just needed some TLC. It's why she recorded this video of the demolition of the Orth House last week, then took to her Facebook to let her 700,000-plus followers know she blames the Minneapolis City Council, specifically Lisa Bender, who oversees that area. That's when her fans fired back at Bender, posting comments using hateful words that can't be on TV. A local man, John Edwards, who calls himself an amateur journalist and neighborhood blogger, compiled some of the worst comments in a post Mayor Hodges later shared, along with some pointed words for Curtis, saying, "To support this kind of hateful response is unconscionable."
I think it makes our city look ridiculous.
Ryan Finstead, who works for a local nonprofit that helped Curtis try to save the home, says the mayor is attacking Curtis because she continues to question the political process behind the home's demolition.
I think that it's something she could have taken care of easily in a private message.
Curtis says she's a homeowner in Lisa Bender's ward. She deleted her post but can't possibly monitor all of the comments on her page. In a statement, she said, "Typically, these pages are bombarded by spammers for work-at-home schemes and porn. Unfortunately, there is not any technology to filter criticism of Minneapolis politics."
I don't know. Hopefully it's one of those things that gets worked out.
Hopefully so, yes. Looked like it could have been spruced up.
Yep, she does nice things with homes.
Well, Madonna isn't letting a little fall stop her from launching her next world tour.
And she's coming to our region for the first time since 2012. Madonna will bring her Rebel Heart tour to the XL Energy Center in St. Paul on October 8th. Tickets range from $40 to $355, with some VIP packages going for much higher. The tour kicks off in Miami in August and ends in Scotland in late December.
Madonna made news last week after this tumble, a nasty one, down some stairs during her performance at the Brit Awards. She got up and finished, but later admitted it was embarrassing.
Well, it shows that she definitely puts on a show.
Yeah, no stopping her either.
Proof that wishes do come true.
The daughter of hockey player Jordan Leopold wrote a letter to Minnesota Wild coaches telling them she misses her dad. Leopold started the season with the Blues and was traded to the Blue Jackets. 11-year-old Jordan, who lives in Minnesota with her mom and siblings, wrote, "I am lost without my dad."
She said since the Wild have not been winning and could use a D-man, could you ask him to join the Wild? Her wish came true today when Leopold was traded from the Blue Jackets to the Minnesota Wild. That's a pretty
great.
cute story.
Yeah. Dreams come true there.
And it sounds like some Wild fans are probably pretty excited about that also.
Yeah.
You can interact with us and weigh in on these stories or anything else on your mind. Tweet us or post us a message on our Facebook page.
You can also check out our brand new website, KVRR.com.
The MSUM men were just one game away from the NSIC championship game. Could the Dragons get there with some late game heroics? Next in sports.
Hi, everybody. The Oak Grove Grovers Hi, everybody. The Oak Grove Grovers boys basketball team won a state championship in Class B last year, but they lost the District 2 championship in a classic against Kindred. This year, the opponent different for Kyle Cart's team. It's Enderlin. But would the result be? Let's go to the game to find out. The Grovers, the 2 seed in the bracket. Enderlin, the 4 seed. First quarter, Eagles with a ton of size, but it's the guard doing the work. Dalton Anderson, the crossfade senior squad loves it, but Grover's number 4 in the state for a reason. Carter Kretschmann to Bryce Bakkegaard. Corner 3 is cash, and then Kretschmann to Isaac Olson. That's a very similar play, showing off the range. Eagles, they're still in control. The Austin Bartholomew, the other corner, that one open. Now you're going to see an Oak Grove highlight, but let me tell you, Carter Kretschmann, a 3 with 2.5 seconds left. He goes for 32-21 in the fourth quarter, and the Grovers win the district 82-80. So the other teams playing for region qualifying first. Northern Cass, the 1 seed, taking on Kindred, the 7 seed. Vikings shooting it early, though. Fletcher Randall, 3 from the wing. That one good, but the Jags come right back. Logan Nelson, sophomore, with a good-looking jumper, and the ball goes back for Andel's court. Baseline, acrobatic land, but Northern Cass is the top seed in the district. Cody Springer, an awfully big part of that, and then you add a Hunter Ward fadeaway in the lane, and Northern Cass is moving on as well. They win 65-50. One more team from District 1 is going. It's either Central Cass or Richland. Second half, Squirrels in control. The senior Noah Knutson, short corner bucket for 2 is good. Colts making a game of it, though. Initial shot is a miss, but Alec Heesh, offensive glass, count it, and a foul, but the Squirrels just a little bit too much down the stretch. First, it's Jack Morris, and then the general for the Squirrels, Grady Bresnahan. Kid can play. Central Cass wins big, 69-50, the final score. Scores from District 1 in a region qualifier. North Sargent, a big winner over Sargent Central, 64-35. And the District 1 championship goes to Hankinson. Pirates by a point over the Wyoming-Lidgerwood Warbirds, 56-55. Other region qualifier from District 1 goes to Milner. Bison beat Lisbon, 53-29. And the District 5 championship goes to Oaks. They beat Lemoore Litchfield Marion, 56-53. MSUM men's basketball has accomplished an awful lot this year. Jed Walthall's team has already won 30 games, setting a school record in the process, but this group wants that conference title, and to get it, they had to win in the semis today against Mankato. Second time of the season against the Mavericks. Dragons won the first one 76-72. Would this one be different? Jordan Reaver going to work early. Nice fake on the pass, and then a finger roll finish. Now let's go to the end. Dragons up a deuce, but the Mavs with the ball. Zach Monahan, under 10 left. He hits a 3 that puts Mankato up a point, but the Dragons with a chance to answer, and Jordan Reaver likes the nickname Hero. He hits it for the win. Dragons go into the final with an 81-80 victory over Minnesota State. Women playing afterwards, taking on Wayne State, and if they win, they too could go to the final. But first half, Dragons already down 13, trying to get back in it. Heather Streezy points in the multicolored paint there, and later first half, Megan Rourke, up and under for the former Fargo South Bruin, but Wayne State awfully strong tonight. Millie Negeling picks, pops, and she pops again. The open 3 is good, and MSUM is going to fall season over as Wayne State wins 81-59. To the association, Timberwolves taking on the Clippers. Kevin Garnett and Doc Rivers, they were together in Boston, saying hello before the game, but the first quarter, Chris Paul, he's a good passer, and DeAndre Jordan, well, he's a good finisher. That's the result, but the Timberwolves have Zach LaVine, and he can do a little dunking of his own. The slam dunk contest champion, and then one more. Off the miss from Jamal Crawford, the feed from Ricky Rubio, and nobody's home. LaVine looks good. You're going to see it again later, but fast forward, 14.9 seconds left. Wolves down 3. Gary Neal, that for the tie? No. And the Clippers go on to win. Final score 110-105. UND hockey approaching its conference tournament as well as MSUM basketball. And Green and White may be playing their best hockey of the season. 3 straight weeks now, UND finds itself atop the USCHO poll almost unanimously this time. Dave Axtell's team swept St. Cloud State over the weekend, and this was after they swept Western Michigan last weekend, so they are clicking at the right time. Overall, it is 7 straight unbeaten for the Green and White, looking to make it 8 on Friday night in Oxford, Ohio against Miami. Rest of the top 5 looks like this. Mentioned UND was almost unanimous number 1. They get 49 of the possible 50 first-place votes. Mankato number 2, BU 3, Michigan Tech is 4th, and as I mentioned, the Red Hawks number 5. So a top 5 showdown to close the year.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much.
If you're a fan of Walking Dead and have nearly $700,000, then you are in luck.
And we're going to take one last look at Rob's forecast next.
This could be the ultimate piece of memorabilia from the hit show The Walking Dead.
The town of Grantville, Georgia is up for sale on eBay. That's where several episodes of the show were filmed, and now it's become a tourist destination. The going price is $680,000, and that includes 9 downtown buildings. Grantville's mayor bought the buildings in a foreclosure deal, and now he's ready to sell. He says several movies are set to film there soon, including the one with Tom Cruise.
You could own your very own town.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the show, I bet it's a pretty big deal.
I bet, yeah.
All I'm selling tonight is winter weather. That's what I've got for you. Winter weather advisory is up. Blizzard watch for the southeast corner of North Dakota, as well as over into Lakes Country of Minnesota. Here's the way the day will play out tomorrow. Temperatures will fall through the day. The snow will go away pretty quick. That wind, though, will pick up, and that's going to cause the problems. We're just looking at about trace to 2 through Fargo, a little bit more to the east. Updates on KVRR.com through the day tomorrow.
All right, thanks for being with us. Mike and Molly's on the way.
Join us again tomorrow night. Good night.